Hello, welcome back, JDs and Lenelman. We are back with beta, one byte, one bullet, we are back with one beta, 7.beta 3 Minecraft. Yeah. I actually did start this off pretty much exactly where we left off. So if you're watching these videos back to back, you'll have no confusion, I guess, in where we stopped and where we're starting. I'm still sipping on that same cold cup of coffee here. I can give a little sip. Ah, man, that is bitter now that it is cold. Holy crap, I don't really want to drink the rest of that now. Um, I did take a little bit of a break, personally, just when my phone walked around, and probably should have gotten some water. Did not, but that is for future me to worry about. Might make a pause in the recording and go do that if this coffee is truly unbearable. But yeah, I kind of should have planned something out before starting this recording. I guess we'll make a staircase. That actually doesn't sound like a terrible plan for right now. But yeah, last time we got a bit of a base set up. It's not looking too shabby here. We'll have to do some more carving out in the future for sure, though. But that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Because carving is a lot easier than building, in my opinion. And that's why I opt for carving a lot of the time. Maybe did the Yogscast guys usually carve out their house? I feel like they usually lived in caves because of the whole dwarf thing. Because I used to watch those guys all the time as a kid. I think a lot of people did. So if they did it, maybe it's like a subconscious thing in my head, and that's why I like it so much. Just a theory, a game theory, but you know. By the way, stairs are like the biggest pain to work with in this game, or in this version of the game, because if you end up breaking one, or needing to break one, it's just like the world's biggest annoyance. It just takes forever. So we will try to not screw those up as much as possible, but things do happen. Things do happen. Alright, there we go. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. One of my big things with Minecraft, I don't know, like this has just always bugged me, is yes, you can do a 1-door, that looks fine, right? And yes, you can do a 2-door, that looks fine. But you can't do a 3-door. 3 doors look terrible. You can never do it. It's like sacrilege. It's just, oh man, it bothers me so much because there's so many points where I'm like, I don't want a 1-door here. I want a 3-door, but a 3-door looks ugly, so I can't do it. And I'm not even that much of a builder, but when that happens, it kind of bothers me, Let's actually get some storage going here. Just do it like this, I think. I don't really want this to be permanent storage, so we're just gonna throw things in here kind of sparingly. Yeah, because I do want to make like an actual, maybe storage room, I don't know. Plan for the day, a couple of things we could do. We can improve on the base, or we could start staircasing down for a strip mine, which I wouldn't really hate either. Or alternatively, we could try to get some food going. Maybe get a little bit of a farm set up, which I don't hate either. And I actually think we're going to do that now, just so I'm not sitting on 4.5 hearts or 5.5, whatever that is, for the whole recording. So let's not waste a coal on that. We'll just use wood. And the reason I wanted the stone was to do this. Yeah, just so that's kind of uniform. I do like how that looks a lot more, I think. So we could potentially make this an entrance to the strip mine if we wanted. I don't know if I want to do that. We might just, I think here it's probably better, just a little bit further away. The strip mine is just going to be very boring. I might cut this out unless I go on a rambling that I think could be entertaining. But it probably won't be. Oh yeah, that's another thing. The inventory thing is on like a separate like GUI layer, so like you can have blocks go behind it. I don't know why. I just always thought that was kind of funny. Oh yeah, you can't stack in this game. I get like you can't stack food in this game. It just messes with me. I did turn off music for this video, in-game music, so we won't be hearing that because I did want to try. I think only one track played last episode, but I did want to just try muting music for this one and seeing if that would, if adding anything in post would maybe sound better. Because don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore the C418 Minecraft soundtrack. In fact, I might even just add that itself to the game, or to the video. But having control over it, I do think is a lot nicer, just as far as everything's considered. Another thing, the F3 menu in this version of the game does not really give you a whole lot to work off of. It does give you your X and Y, which is good. But that's kind of about it. I guess frames and endies. Yeah, it's so creepy. Because you'll turn on F3 and you'll see these name tags. And the first time you see it, it'll freak you out so bad. But it's just the entities in the area. So like zombies and chickens and whatnot. But yeah, that has always messed with me, and I don't think it'll ever not. Oh yeah, staircases really aren't that crazy, are they? We need to go up one more. Let's try one more. But I really actually don't think staircases do a whole bunch, all things considered. Yeah, it's still pretty slow either way, but at least you don't have to hold your spacebar, which is... I mean, it's a trade-off, but, you know, we take what we can get. Dude, these cave noises, they freak me out so bad, just to this day. Especially in this older version of Minecraft, where things are just kind of naturally... There's like just a creepier ambiance. I can't really put my finger on why. I don't think it's the Herobrine stuff. I don't think it's the fog or anything like that. I just think the game it's quiet, you know? It's very quiet. So when you get this cave ambiance, it freaks me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like it at all. But you know, it's part of the charm. And if I get jump scared by some creepy creature, then that's kind of the way it is. That actually leads me into a good talking point, though, of Minecraft horror in general. I think has gotten really terrible over the years, to be honest. And I'm not going to pretend it was ever good, because I actually don't think it was ever good. But, and I mean no disrespect to the creators of these mods when I say this. I think it has gotten very generic and very formulaic. Just from the videos. I've never played it. So I will preface it with that. I've never played any of these mods because it's not really something that looks appealing to me. But, you know, I have watched videos of people play these mods. And a lot of the time, it's like creepy, hyper-realistic 3D modeled guy chasing after you and jump scaring you and sending you like creepy blood red messages. It's just not very scary. Like, I'll be frank. It's not really scary. It's kind of corny at a certain point, in my opinion, because like it's too realistic. Like, you're going too far with this concept, I feel like, instead of just really playing into the Minecraft aspect of it. I think the reason why Herobrine works so well as kind of like a horror mod, and I'm talking about it in regards to like the Herobrine horror mods, is because a lot of the time they weren't really like too invasive or too crazy. It was just things that would subtly change around your world, and you would maybe see them, but I can't remember any of those mods doing like crazy jump scares or anything. But that's kind of iron, very nice actually. That's kind of all these new mods feel like, is it's like, yes, it takes homage to some of those Herobrine mods where it's like creepy happenings around your world, ooh. But then they kind of just rip off the band-aid and like you get teleported to the back rooms, or you get like jump scared by something that would never really work in the context of Minecraft, and it's not really scary to me. It's like, I feel like it would be a lot creepier if you just played into the thematics of Minecraft, right? Like, really made it subtle. Like, maybe there's no creepy and I'm hearing things, and that is actually freaking me out. I think it's just like a cow or something. But, yeah, it 100% is that cow up there. Holy, yeah, but, like, that's it, right? Like, that is exactly what I'm talking about. It doesn't have to be a giant creepy crawling monster. that's like you break a block and it's there, and it's so scary. It can just be some unsettling noises, some footsteps, right? Like it doesn't have to be something. And I feel this sentiment with the back rooms a lot too. Back rooms very popular. Recently got a movie, whatever, right? Everyone knows it. And I haven't watched the movie. I'm sure it's incredible because Kane Parsons is 20 years old and is very talented at what he does. Like the fact that his original series was in Blender was very impressive to me. But I do think the Macrooms was a lot scarier when there was no monster. It was just the concept of a monster. That there might be something watching you. There might be something there. And I think that kind of horror lends itself a lot better to the medium because it's something that we imagine, right? Anything that someone creates is going to be less scary than like the monsters we create in our mind, I feel like. So just kind of that vision of like something that might be there, you start thinking about it, right? And you start making it worse and worse in your head until eventually it's scarier than any creepy crawling monster could ever be. That's just my take on it. I'm trying to jump up here without breaking the block. You can have horror is not like a one-way street. You can have multiple opinions. It's perfectly fine. But that's just my opinion on things. It's just how I kind of view horror as a whole. Recently, I watched a video by Sagan Hawks on House of Leaves, which is incredible, by the way. I should have read the book, and I still might read the book, because the video, while it does explain most of what happens in the book, I do think House of Leaves is unique enough to warrant a read, even if you know the story. But that video, without going too spoilery, there's no clear-cut monster in that book. And it is a horror book. It's more psychological than anything else. But there is, like, paranormal, quote-unquote paranormal stuff happening, right? But there's no monster, right? And I guess that's technically a spoiler. Whatever. Whatever. Another voice crack. Great. That is technically a spoiler. Sure. There's no. It just freaks me out so bad. I'm not gonna lie. That's not gonna let me sleep either. Oh man. Oh, I'm too jumpy because I'm talking about this kind of stuff. And I think that's why it works so well, is because it's just... I can't go into it without spoiling. Please go watch the video or read the book. It is incredible. I think it's one of the greatest works of horror I've ever seen in my life. Because it just messes with you so bad. But yeah, in general, backrooms type horror, I guess liminal horror in general, I think has dwindled over the years because... For one thing, a lot of the things these people are calling liminal, and by these people I just mean the internet as a whole, aren't really liminal. They're just kind of empty. And I feel like you're kind of missing the point of liminal, because yes, liminal spaces are kind of inherently empty, but it's supposed to invoke a raw kind of emotion in you that you wouldn't really get from just an empty classroom or something, right? And another thing is that a lot of these quote-unquote liminal spaces, threads, or whatever you want to call them, they always have some creepy monster attached, some ghoul, some goblin. And it's just around the corner, and it's peeking its eye out at you. Ooh, scary. But it's not. It's not scary. Maybe you get a knee-jerk reaction out of it the first time, but on a second or third understanding of it, it's not really anything at all. It's just kind of there, which is sure. But once it exists, and you can put a face to the name or a name to the face or whatever, even if that's not necessarily what it is, you make it real to the point where it's not. It just doesn't have an effect anymore, I guess. I don't know. I'm rambling at this point. I think a very good example of this, by the way, is Briscoe Park. I mean, an example of this in the right way is Briscoe Park. Briscoe Park, I'll put them on screen if I remember, and if I leave this in the video, is, I would say it's liminal in like the best way possible. It is incredibly entertaining to watch these videos of a guy walking around. I don't know how he does this, by the way. If these are real places, I'm flabbergasted, and if he's like making these in Blender or whatever, I'm equally flabbergasted. I don't know how you do that, because like, please go watch. I swear those videos, like, they're not that scary. If you like just kind of skip through them a little bit and just see what he's looking at. If you do watch them closely, they're kind of terrifying, because like you'll see like eyes out of a corner or something, or you'll see like something will move, or you'll hear something. It's just, ugh, it gets me so bad sometimes. But great videos, amazing series. So I would highly recommend checking that out if you do care about the horror genre at all. But that's kind of it done in the best way, because there's no real monster in those videos. He doesn't get jump scared or jump shocked or whatever at any point. It's just the ambiance. It really lends itself well to the medium. And I feel like I'm kind of sounding like an elitist here, and that's the last thing I want to do, because I'm not. I just kind of like it. Like, I like listening to horror stories and creepypastas and whatever. Just for fun, for the most part. Also because it's more interesting than podcasts, in my opinion. But I guess the overall point I'm getting at here is that horror is probably one of my favorite genres, and I do think parts of it have gone downhill a little bit. But yeah, I'd go check out Briscoe Park. I still want to watch the Backrooms movie. I haven't done it yet. But I think it'd be something I would like. I've heard it was very well made and well received, so I will be checking that out. I think it is on home video or whatever soon. That's good. But I don't know. I don't really watch movies too much as of late. I guess I don't really have been too much of a movie guy in general. Purely because I think it's... I guess back... I don't know. In high school, it was always like, I don't want to watch a movie unless it's in a theater, because then I'm with friends, I'm hanging out, and we can talk about it, we can go get food afterwards, etc., etc. But nowadays, I'm starting to kind of see the value more and more in just staying inside and like putting on a movie and watching it and just kind of relaxing. So I do kind of want to start watching more movies again. I do think Reels, like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, have kind of destroyed my brain a little bit, where it's like, it's hard for me to watch something for an extended period of time. And I don't mean that as in like, I can't do anything for more than an hour. No, I can do, like, I'm fine. But with movies in particular, it's like, you have to get introduced to these characters, and you have to learn about them, and you have to watch an entire story unfold in only 2 hours. And I get kind of split, because I'm like, that's not enough time, but it also feels like too much time because of the time frame it's happening in. So I get very conflicted on how I want to, like, or how I actually watch these movies. And I partially blame YouTube Shorts, but, you know, it's also, like, my fault entirely. So we're gonna go down one more, and then we'll start, like, strip mining. But we did get our mine set up, so we did kind of accomplish our goal for this episode. So we're gonna do it actually like this. Yeah, look at that. That's just freaky, isn't it? Like, that's just like, I hate it. It's so weird. But yeah, so I'll probably sit and I'll go watch the Backrooms movie. I got the Angry Bird, like the entire Angry Birds movie on my YouTube page the other day, and I was like, this can't be legal, right? But it had been up for like a month or something, and I was like, how is this here without getting taken down? I just couldn't get it. And I saw like a post about it, I don't remember where, and it was like, due to some sort of like weird YouTube pattern recognition or whatever, it doesn't flag the Angry Birds movie in particular. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they think it's like the Angry Birds game or something. That was weird. But it doesn't take down the Angry Birds movie for whatever reason. So people just keep re-uploading it, which I do find hilarious. I didn't watch it, but I do remember watching it. I do remember watching that movie way back in the day. And I thought it wasn't like crazy. I just thought it was because I think I'd watched it with my siblings or whatever because they were younger than me at the time and they really wanted to see it. But I I don't know. I just thought it was a little cringe, I guess. But people have been like talking about it recently, like it's the greatest movie of all time, like it's cinema itself. And I'm like, maybe I should watch it. Like maybe a lot of jokes went over my head when I was a kid. I don't know. I'm gonna make this a little farm. It's gonna be crappy, but like I just want to put it here. I don't know why. So let's just get water going and flowing. And I feel like I've been ranting the entire video this far, and we are approaching that 30-minute mark on my recording, and I don't really know how much I'm gonna have to cut out this time because it has just been like rants. But I guess we'll get this farm set up, and I will probably call it maybe, which means I need to go grab some seeds. But I guess tangentially related to that, you know, we're playing old school Minecraft right now, and that kind of approach is important because I actually don't have any nostalgia for this version of the game because I didn't play it. I didn't grow up with this version, like I mentioned, and yet it does still feel nostalgic to me, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's just because of the look of it, or maybe because when I watched YouTubers play it, they played on a version that was pretty close to this, because I would watch those old, like, Ant Venom videos, or Caveman Film videos, or what have you, right? And they would be playing on this version. Evbo, right? I think Evbo had a beta version that was like this. Evbo's World. Was it Evbo? No, Evbo's the Parkour Civilization guy. Who am I... This is gonna bother me. This is gonna bother me. Oh my god. Okay, I found it. It was Ethos World. Ethos World, Ethos World. I can't believe I forgot about that. I'm a failure as a person. But yeah, like that, like video, like people like him, right? Would be those videos I would watch back in the day, and I feel like that's why. That's, oh my god. Ugh. It's still early in the morning for me. You'll have to forgive me. But I think that's the core reason, I guess, maybe I have nostalgia for this version of the game. Aside from it just generally being a nostalgic version, I feel like. Like, I promise you, beat up this version of the game and play it for a few hours, and you'll just start feeling a certain way about it. It could be good, or it could be bad, but, you know. I think it's definitely worth giving a chance to, in my opinion. Well, and we're closing in on this Minecraft day. I got 10 seeds, which is fine enough to start with. I don't think you can technically fill it all out, but it's whatever. And I think we're going to end off this video here. This was a bit of a ramble video. I don't know how much of it is even going to make it, considering I don't really even know what I was saying. But yeah, I actually been really enjoying the world so far. I don't think I'll record another video today unless I get, you know, really in the mood for it. Alright, we're back. Not going to do any big intros for this one, purely because I think this isn't going to be an episode 3, it's just going to be an episode 2. And I'm just going to combine the footage I had earlier with the footage I'm creating right now. Because I had a thought, as I was making the editing for episode 1, which I did after recording the first half of episode 2, wouldn't it make a lot more sense to just kind of bundle it as one big mining episode? So that's kind of the idea I'm going with right now, because last episode, well, I'm probably going to refer to that as last episode, but technically it was last 20 minutes or whatever for you guys. We did build that strip mine, we got the farm going, as pathetic as this looks right now, and I figured why not just kind of make a whole strip mining episode where nothing really too interesting happens, but at least if that's the case, people can skip it if they want. So yeah, I'm debating making another pickaxe here for now. I think that's probably the move. We're definitely going to want to stock up on a few more torches too. Kind of throwing things around right now. Something I want to try for this part of the video, and I'm going to try to get better at saying this part as opposed to this episode, because it's a little weird, is I want to stop saying and ah as much. That was something I noticed a lot when I was there. Yeah, there we go. That was something I noticed a lot while I was reviewing the footage for the first episode, was that I was constantly breaking up my flow with ums and ahs. And I think the big thing that's kind of hard for me is that I feel like I always have to fill the air with something. It doesn't have to be necessarily anything of value, and that's where the ums and ahs naturally just stem from, because I'm so obsessed with just keeping a constant flow of talking. But kind of the nice thing about recording in the way I do is that there's no real pressure for that to happen. Also, I don't know. Alright, hopefully we're back. If this recording cuts out, then, that'll be the end of that. Hopefully I notice that when I'm doing my video editing and don't put that in. But as I was saying before, we were so rudely interrupted by my own idiocracy. There it is again. I'm gonna point it out every time I do it, just so I get better at it myself. Sorry if that gets a little annoying, but hopefully I don't leave too many of those in. But as I was watching the episode 1, it was really noticeable, and it bothered me a lot. And I think it bothered me a lot because I was watching it on 2x speed, just so I could kind of speed through the editing process. By the way, Redstone takes forever to mine this version. So because of that, I think I just naturally noticed it a lot more, because I was just, every 5 seconds I would hear an or an ah, or a so, or a well, etc., etc. And like and as and whatever have you isn't really as bad as saying and ah, at least to me. But it's something that really bothered me when I was rewatching it. So shouldn't be mining this. Sorry, for some reason I get really paranoid whenever I'm doing these videos. I feel like I'm hearing noises when I'm not. So I don't know. It's freaky. It's weird. Plays into the haunted aspect, I guess, of old Minecraft. The main recording time I do these videos, by the way, is either really early in the morning when I wake up and I have my coffee, or late at night. This one is late at night, so everyone's kind of asleep, and it's a different vibe, I guess in a way it is kind of similar to if you go real early morning and everyone's still asleep, it's still kind of the same thing, but I don't know. The later you do it, the kind of, scary monsters in the closet and whatever, right? But I kind of like that. It adds a certain kind of atmosphere to at least my experience. So, on top of that, the whole and ah thing, those cave noises are bad. I messed around with some audio settings. There it is again, yeah. So, I don't have any music on right now. In-game, I can show you. No music, and we're going to keep it that way for at least the rest of this recording, because in post, I'm planning on adding potentially the Minecraft soundtrack. I was debating it. I don't want to do that. Oh, we can explore this cave a little bit. Very hard to see, though, in these older versions. I actually don't think you can turn up the brightness at all. You cannot. So, yeah, options are very limited, but, we got to work with what we got here. But yeah, so I'll be adding that in post. I'm not sure if I'm going to do just the Minecraft soundtrack or if I'm going to add something different, but might be a mix of both. I do have a few soundtracks I think would fit really well from different games. That would be kind of nice. So, we'll just be experimenting. And we'll see how that works out. We'll see if it's well received. Oh, look at that. Look at that. No! Oh, no, really? That actually happened? Oh my god, I can't believe that just happened to me. I think it's been years since something like that happened. Okay, well, you know, we still got 4, whatever, right? But believe it or not, diamonds actually don't have too much value in this version of the game. And the reason I say that is that diamond tools don't last that much longer, slash even mine that much faster, I believe. So a lot of the time, you'll just be making stone pickaxes anyway. And there's no enchantments in the game, so you just kind of have to be very slow in general and be okay with that, which I am. You know, I don't mind. I like taking my time with these things. I don't want to go too far here because losing where my strip mine is would be a bit of a pain. But yeah, diamonds already is pretty good. I lost my train of thought now. I can't remember what I was thinking or what I was just talking about. It was something about, maybe about the audio and how I was planning on mishmashing that one. Additionally, well, there it was again, yeah. And I don't know why I do it, because I had a clearer train of thought in my mind because I was just about to talk about my microphone, but I felt like I needed to remember how to say microphone. Maybe that's why I said it. And these caves are freaky. Yikes, that was almost bad. That was almost real bad. But, yeah, so I have a Blue Yeti microphone that I got a long time ago. I was probably like 11 or 12, so it's been like, we'll say it's been over 10 years, right? And it has done me well. I've used it for so long that it's kind of inseparable from me, but, oh, more diamonds over there. It is old, right? It is very old. But I noticed I had a setting on that was used for, I think, like collaboration, which kind of, it doesn't necessarily diminish the mic quality a whole bunch, but it does make things a little bit fuzzier because it's taking audio from omnidirectional or whatever. So I changed that, so now it's a little more focused, which I think will be a lot better. I think, no guarantees, because I did notice the audio was a little bit crusty earlier. Okay, I'm gonna actually be smart about it this time. I think this should be fine. Yeah, this is fine. The audio was a little bit crusty last time, at least from what I noticed. Maybe it didn't show up too bad on the YouTube post-processing or whatever, but from what I noticed when I was editing the video, it was just a little grainy, so hopefully that's fixed now. And I still do have, OBS does have a built-in kind of audio noise canceller deal, and I do have it turned on for a few reasons. Number one, I do have a fan running. It is very hot. It's like 90 degrees all the time, and I'm not really a fan of that. So because of that, you know, fan running, it's running on like 2-speed or 3-speed, so it's actually not too loud either way. But because of that, I'm actually going to take a trip back up here and just drop off whatever I need. Because of that, you know, I have the noise canceling on. Also, like, if I'm, you know, you can maybe hear a little bit of that. Oh, I shouldn't speak. I don't know how much you can hear after I change the mic settings, but you shouldn't be able to hear too much of my normal click-clacking, right? And I don't have a mechanical either, so it's not that big of a deal. But, you know, things like that. So, we are going to make a diamond pick, and we're going to use it. Because I kind of do want to display how mediocre it is. I think I was thinking of mediocrity in my head. But I could be wrong. I could be misremembering it too. I don't think I am. I think it's just not that crazy in this version of the game. But if anyone who knows better, feel free to correct me. That might be Alpha I'm thinking of. So, we'll see. Back to the caves we go. So yeah, we're gonna make this a bit of a caving episode. But that's enough talking about the microphone and recording settings, and I guess about the ums and ahs, because that will get annoying if I point it out every time. But I think I've been better so far. Obsidian does take forever to mine in this version, by the way. I think it's like a minute or something. It's not like a minute, but it does take a while. So we'll mine a few pieces, but I don't want to, keep us here forever, right? I'll probably do the rest myself. Well, that's like a solid 4 pieces. We can go get more later. I kind of want to split the tunnel a bit. Maybe start going left here, just to. I don't know. I don't really like mining in the caves. So I'm start mining. It feels a little awkward. Exploring them a bit is fine, but for the most part, I just kind of want to turn my brain off, right? Although I guess for recording purposes, it's not necessarily turning the brain off. And I'll try to keep things well lit just for the YouTube audiences at home, because I know the bitrate just like kills it whenever it's low. Oh, I can't say that. I can't say that. I'm gonna have to bleep that out in post. Oh no, I'm gonna get demonetized if I leave that in. Okay, that won't happen, I swear. But other than that, I tried some Power World out because I saw version 1.0 came out. I have the Game Pass, so I was like, you know what? Sure, let's give Power World a spin, see if it's improved at all. For those of you who don't know, I'm a huge Pokemon fan, and I am a Minecraft fan, obviously, from what you can see here, although admittedly I do like the older versions of Minecraft as opposed to the new. And Power World kind of marketed itself as a Pokemon, Minecraft, Rust, Ark Survival Evolved type combined, whatever you want to call it. And that did pique my interest. I'm probably not going to cut that. Sorry. And that did pique my interest purely because, I was like, whatever, it's free. I'll try it, right? So I tried it back when it was in beta, I think like a few months into its release, and it was fine. I didn't hate it, but I didn't really love it either, and it really felt like it was a game made in Unity. And I hate saying that because I don't think I can fully get the point across of what I mean. And I don't even know if it was made in Unity, but like just playing it, it feels like it was a 3D Unity game. Like I don't. If you get what I get, if you understand what I'm saying, then you get it. And if you don't, then I'm sorry. But maybe you can kind of see where I'm coming from. But that was then, and then I played it now, which was I think yesterday, and I got a base set up, I got some pals, and to be honest, it just, for one thing, the maps aren't randomly generated, right? It's the same exact map as it was when I played a year and a half or 2 years ago or whatever it was, right? So that was already kind of not a turn off per se, but it was very much so like, yes, I remember where a lot of this stuff is because I remember doing it way back when, right? So I was already like, it's kind of hard to sell me on this, but that's -1 to the point of Battle World, right? Whatever. So I ran around, I got some pals, I set up a little starter base. Something that really annoyed me is I wanted to move like my ranch, or not my ranch, but like my pal box, and I did it and like destroyed my ranch, which was like a lot of materials, and I was just like, oh, that's kind of a pain. It also took like 3 minutes to build it, and I was like, well, that just kind of sucks, but whatever. So I ended up rebuilding it, and it was fine, but it still felt like a Unity game. And I'm not dissing Unity games. Like, I think there's a lot of really 3D games made in Unity, but this felt like a mediocre game made in Unity. Like, some animations were clunky, and like collision wasn't really proper at all. But more than anything, I really didn't understand the progression that much. Because it just felt like I was gathering resources, and I didn't really get what for. Right? Like, I think in Minecraft it works because when you're gathering resources, it's very clearly because you want to build with them, right? Or you want to make tools with them, craft with them, whatever, right? But in Power World, there's like, everything's like level up gated. So you can't just like get diamonds and make diamond armor, right? You have to go through like the skill tree, and you have to be level X and then have X materials, whatever, right? And to me, I just don't know if that's really my kind of game. I think Arc kind of works the same way. I haven't played Arc in like 10 years or something, but I think Arc kind of worked the same way. And I did like Arc when I played it, albeit I was very, very young. But I do think those games work better multiplayer, and I was just playing it single player, so there's also something to be said about that. But additionally, like, the PALs don't evolve. I don't know. Like, to me, the coolest part about Pokemon is the evolutions. It's seeing, like, you see this weak little creature at level 6, and you're like, well, this guy is kind of a jobber. Like, he doesn't, he's a weak little guy. He kind of sucks, right? Like, Charmander, right? And I'm going to use this because it's a very basic example, right? But Charmander, right? He's just this weak little dinosaur guy. Like, he gets steamrolled by first gym. He's just, like, terrible. But, you train him up, and you use him, and bond with him, whatever. Like, you feel a connection to the Pokemon. I've always been this awesome, like, Charmeleon lizard guy, and you're like, okay, this kind of sick. Like, I can get behind this, right? Like, he's some kind of, like, dragon guy, right? And then you hit level 36, and you're at, like, it's like the 4th gym leader or whatever. And at that point, sorry, I'm going to move my chair up, because it's really starting to be uncomfortable. And at that point, you're like, he's got wings. And he has a flamethrower, and he's just going to start tearing everything down. And you're like, this is the coolest Pokemon ever. And again, this is like 6-year-old me. So maybe if I was 6 years old playing Power World and I saw a cool POW, I'd have the same reaction. But, there's 6-year-old me seeing, like, Charizard, giant, awesome dragon guy, even though he's not dragon type, fly around and just, like, wreck everything on my enemy's team. Like, yeah, that was sick. That's cool. It's cool that it came from, like, this little lizard guy. Like, that's awesome. So, and Power World not having that, like, kind of... I hate to say it ruins it for me, but it really hurts my perception of it. And I do almost wonder if that's, like, a legal thing that they couldn't do. Which, again, totally, like, that's totally fair. If legally they couldn't do it, that's fine. And I think they had to change, like, the PAL, like, their Pokeballs to, like, call them spheres or something, just so it was, like, legally distinct. But, like, I don't know. We should probably go back up and start smelting this, huh? Yeah, let's go do that. So, I don't know. Maybe if people, if the people want to ever watch me play Power World, maybe I'll play it. But I don't think I'd ever play it just for myself, because it's not really something that, like, it doesn't interest me too much. I don't know. Like, it's not. And again, like, I'm sure people work very hard on it, but it's just not my kind of game, I think. It's fine. You can have games that are not for you. But what it did make me want to do is it made me want to play Pokemon. So, I kind of want to play Pokemon again. And every time I play a Pokemon game, I get way too, like, invested in it, and I start, like, shiny hunting, and I spent like 100 hours, right? Like, ZA was the last game I really played, and I put like 200 hours in it. And I was thinking about this, because, while I'm driving to work or whatever, I just start thinking of random, like, concepts in my head. And I was thinking, like, I could genuinely make, like, an hour-long video on how much I hated the ZA DLC. I think the ZA DLC is the worst thing the Pokemon Company has put out in, like, over 5 years. Maybe 5 years is, like, a short time span, but, like, maybe worst thing they've put out since Scarlet and Violet. I mean, Scarlet and Violet sucks, but I hated it. It was terrible. And I'm gonna go into minor spoilers, I guess, for the gameplay of that DLC. So if you are, like, you really are gonna sit down and play it in the future, and you want to go in blind, voice crack, and you want to go in blind, then obviously just skip over this or whatever. Maybe I'll put a timestamp. I probably won't. Just figure it out yourself. But, so in the DLC, it was advertised, right? It's Hoopa. So, like, you go through Hoopa's dimensions, and you go through these portals,
and you go and catch Pokemon. I should have... Okay, we're going to walk back up. I should have deposited all this stuff. And you go through these portals, and you get rare Pokemon. But there's a caveat in that, and it's a really weird caveat. So, for starters, they're time limited. Whatever, right? Sure. You know, it kind of sucks that you have to be careful with your time, especially because it just feels like an unnecessary restriction. And late game, realistically, they should have just given you infinite time. I generally think that, and I don't think anyone really disagree. Early game, sure, make it a time limit, who cares? But yeah, at the end of the game, you still have to, like, you get like 8 minutes or whatever, but it just kind of sucks. But the thing that really bugged me about it was the fact that the Pokemon you can find there aren't all different from the ones you can find just in the overworld. So I forgot, just walking on crops in this version of the game just kills them. That sucks. But like, you could go find a crocodile outside of the dimensions, but you could also find them inside. So already there's a high chance you're seeing Pokemon you've already seen. Which that, to me, sucked. I didn't like that at all. But the other side of it, and it's part good, part bad. Partially, you get the ability to get legendary Pokemon, which is good, because the original ZA released, and you could get Zygarde, which, okay, is this spoiler? This is going to be spoilers? This is going to be spoilers. I don't care. Where did my torches go? There they are. You get Zygarde, obviously. He's like Z, whatever, right? You can get Xerneas and Yveltal. I actually don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I think it is Yveltal. Yveltal or Yveltal? Which, sure, yeah, fine. That makes sense. They're the original X and Y Pokemon. And then through DLC, you can get like Mewtwo and Deancey and other... Well, Deancey's mythical, but, you know, you get the point, right? Now, the problem I have, the real thing that grinds my gears is... Okay, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself, sorry. So, yes, you can get... the DLC does add more legendary Pokemon. It adds Latios and Latias, and a few others that I actually won't spoil, right? Some of them are story legendaries, some of them are optional. The story legendaries, I think, sure, make them story legendaries, make them a part of the DLC. That's fine. The way they implemented them in the story makes 0 sense. Very poorly designed. Just like they threw them in there for fun, to be honest with you. Which, don't really get why they did. Whoa, look at that. That's a trifecta. They're kind of just there to be there. And at that point, I don't know why they're making them story legendaries and not optional. But sure, whatever, right? Now, where it gets real bad is the optional legendaries. Now, it's two sides of a coin here. Because on one side, for the first time since Sword and Shield, and like Sword and Shield like mega raid dens, you can actually shiny hunt these legendaries, which is awesome. You can actually get a shiny Latios or Latias because they're optional. Super cool. Really glad they did that, especially because shiny hunting in CA is, I wouldn't call it fun, but it's not so tedious that it's like brain numbing. You actually do have some active involvement there, which is, you know, it's something, I guess. Some people like it, some people don't. I personally am indifferent to it, but I appreciated the change of pace. But where things get real bad is, in order to get one of these optional legendaries, you have to do a special scan. And they appear every 5th special scan. And now you're asking, well, what are the requirements to get a special scan? Because that would determine how good or bad it is, right? Obviously, and you are correct in saying that. So in order to do a special scan, you need 25,000 hyperspace points, okay? Another creepy cave noise, not a fan. And I'm also not a fan of this. I'm just going to ignore it, and I'm going to take in another branch. I don't really want to explore that right now while I'm rambling, but you need 25,000 hyperspace points. And the average you get from a hyperspace is probably like less than 8,000. So on average, you're taking 3 to 4 hyperspaces to get the special scan, right? Which means you have to go and make a donut, which takes a couple minutes, and then you have to go in there and you have to complete all the quests, which takes a couple minutes. So it's like, I would say it's probably about 20 minutes in between each special scan. And then every 5th scan, I think you're guaranteed to get the legendary or whatever, but it ends up taking like an hour and a half. We'll say an hour and a half on average to get a legendary to spawn. And it isn't fun to do it. It's never fun. If it was enjoyable to do these special scans, or like to build up to these special scans, it's a completely different story. But it's not. It sucks. It's monotonous, and you're just like running around doing like super dumb quests, like catch 3 Pokemon without them like knowing you're there. And when you already have the completed decks, it's just like, what, like this is irrelevant to me, whatever. But it's just, it was so bad. And then the main story, like, they literally, okay, it was very similar to how kind of the special scans work, albeit like less bad, because you only had to do like one special scan in between. Like, it would be like, do a main quest where you talk to someone, then get 20,000 points, and then do it again, and then 30,000, etc., etc. And I think the worst was like 50k, but even then it was like, whatever, it's the final thing, sure, whatever. But the thing that was really weird to me about the DLC was they would just kind of have you fight people randomly for like no reason. Oh, it looks like there's a cave in that direction. So like, you'd be doing these special scans, and then you'd enter like a mandatory dimension, and it would be like a doubles battle with 2 random people that you knew from the original game, and it'd be like, I don't know why we're here, but we're gonna fight you now. Let's battle and test our skills. And it's like, why? It's just why? It doesn't make sense. And I think the problem with this is the lack of a villain of the DLC. There is a villain, obviously, like there has to be an antagonist, whatever, but it's a Pokemon, right? So it's not really a trainer villain. I'm not saying you need to introduce like a new Team Flare or Team Plasma or whatever, but like make Team Nitro Flare or whatever, and technically they kind of did that, but like not at all really. But you know, do something kind of cool like that, and make them like, you know, they're a very small band of guys from the original who are invading these pocket dimensions and want to battle you because they want the power of the dark Pokemon for themselves or whatever, right? But it just doesn't happen that way. So you end up just fighting random people for like no reason at all, and it's not even hard, but it just kind of breaks the flow of the gameplay because the battles aren't difficult at all. They're just like, you just steamroll them. So it's not engaging, it's just mind-numbing, which that's my biggest complaint about any game, right? If a game is too hard, I think that's actually fine. I think it's fine for a game to be too hard, because in a way it can be frustrating. You can put it down, sure, but it's a different kind of frustrating than like you're playing this game and it is actively like stripping you of all fun and entertainment because of how mind-numbingly slow and boring it is. And I'm sure I could think of good examples given time, but right now the only one I can think of is just how bad the ZA post-game or the DLC was. And another good one is the ZA raids. I think they're really cool in concept because they're like, in a way, they're kind of just like the Final Fantasy, like a very basic, of course, Final Fantasy raid boss, where you have to stand in specific areas and dodge attacks and position well, whatever, right? Which is cool. I think it's a good concept, don't get me wrong. But they made the bosses just way too tanky, and I think every boss fight just takes way too long, and they happen way too frequently. And if you want to collect all the Mega Stones, you have to do all the Mega bosses. So it just takes forever. We got our first sweep, by the way. It's awesome. And every time you have to do it, like, you don't go, oh yay, I get to unlock a new mega that for this Pokemon I really like, you go, oh, I really don't want to have to do this because it's going to take forever. And, like, that's just not a good... It's not what you want your players to feel when they're doing a new mechanic, I guess, to the series. So I do think that one kind of fell flat a little bit. I think you can make it work. I do think it's more interesting than whatever Scarlet and Violet had going on with the raids / Sword and Shield. I think those were just, like, uniquely terrible. But I'm actually not going to get down there because we are kind of running close to time on this video. But I wonder if there's anything outside I can do. I guess we'll chop some trees, get some wood stockpiled for next episode, because I might do a building episode next episode. But let's do that, do that, do that, do that. I'm going to make these iron just for the sake of it. Yeah. Iron doesn't have too much of a use in this version, I believe, outside of just doing decoration with iron blocks and some redstone. But it's still nice to have a decent chunk. Oh, it's about to turn night. Alright, we'll sleep and then we'll continue. But yeah, I think they could rework the raid bosses and they would be wildly successful. For starters, just make them quicker. Like, they should not need to take that much time. And also, I think it hurt the game that there were so many megas that had them. Like, there's a quest, I think, in the main game where you have to do, like, 3 of them back to back. And I saw that quest, and I literally just put the game down. I was like, I'm not doing this right now. Which sucked, because I think I beat the whole game in a week. So, because it was on my winter break or whatever, and I was just like, I have the week off, let me just play the whole game. But despite all my qualms, I do think ZA is the best Pokemon game released probably since Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, because Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield sucked. I could do an entire separate rant video on how much I hated those games. But the more time that passes, the more I appreciate Sword and Shield. I actually don't think they're as bad as people say. I do think they're terrible, but I don't think they're, like, disgustingly bad. Scarlet and Violet, on the other hand, is just irredeemable. Normally when I play Pokemon games, I don't replay them until, like, a few years have passed. So, like, like Emerald, right? Like, I beat it when I was a kid, and I didn't really replay it until I was, like, and I'm saying a kid, I mean, like, 8 years old. And I didn't replay it until I was, like, 16, and I didn't replay it again until I was, like, over 20. So, I take my time with these replays. But Scarlet and Violet I beat not when it came out, because I hated it so much, so I put it down the first time. And then my first year of college, I came back and I beat it on the Switch 1, and I hated it. And then on the Switch 2 it released, and I downloaded, like, the Switch 2 version with all the upgrades and whatever, so it would run faster and better, and I still hated it. The only thing I noticed was that, for one thing, yes, like, it did load faster, but the cutscenes are still so bad. I don't know why Pokemon hasn't done voice acting yet. I actually do know why. The reason Pokemon hasn't done voice acting yet, if you're curious, is because, and you'll notice this if you look at any signage in Pokemon games, it's on this, like, made-up language. It makes translation costs go down so much when you don't have to create new assets for, like, different languages, and the same thing applies to voice actors. You don't have to pay a voice actor for a role that doesn't exist. So they just don't do voice actors, which I think is really cheap, and I think it's really hurting them over time here. And, like, people are starting to be like, why aren't you just doing voice actors? But I don't think they'll ever do it. I really don't, for that reason alone. Anyway, onto the point of Scarlet and Violet on Switch 2. Yes, Pokemon spawned a lot more, which was cool, because I was shiny hunting, so obviously you want to spawn more Pokemon. And I did, like, a shiny Iron Valiant hunt, I think, and I got it pretty quick, and it was fun, like, because you do see a lot of them. But the other, like, 14, 15 hours of the game or whatever I played to get there weren't. The gym leaders suck. Getting into a battle slows everything down. to like a halt, to the point where it's just like not even you don't want to do any battles because it takes so much time. So it's just I don't know, and I think I'll go on more about this probably in a future video. We're running close on time, and I don't want to make this video too terribly long. So I will leave it at that, but I will probably reapproach this topic in another video. But yeah, I think that's where we're gonna end things off. I'm gonna have to try to find a way to segue the other ending of the video into this one maybe. But yeah, this will be a longer form video, probably about an hour after I edit it, which is gonna suck to do, but I will get to that probably right away tonight, and maybe have this video even up by tonight, which would be cool. Probably not though, but we'll see. But thank you guys so much for watching, if you have watched up until this point, which, you know, big ups to you considering how much longer of a video this is. I really do appreciate it. And hopefully I continue to make more of these because I am enjoying it. Let me know what you guys think about the mic quality and overall, I guess, video audio of the second half here. I mean, as well as the first, obviously, so I can know what to improve upon. And let me know what you think about the soundtrack I chose, if I did go with Minecraft or if I did go with a mix. I'm drawing for time here. I don't really know how to end a video properly. But yeah, we will see you guys in the next one. Thanks.